welcome you.
Good morning. We do welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kent. I am Reverend Stephen, your minister. Thank you for joining us this morning as we gather virtually once again, a spiritual community seeking to be diverse and inclusive as we inspire love, work for justice, and grow together in community. And once again, welcome. Now, as we prepare for worship, let's take a moment to just breathe, to invite the Spirit that is love and life to be present among us, and to open our hearts and minds to the gift that our time together this morning will offer.
Mother Earth, beloved garden, living treasure underfoot. All our days you ground our being, sage and thistle, grass and root. Herbs to heal us, plants to feed us, lands to till and tend and plow. With a pendant deep as midnight north, we ask you be here now. Father, air, your inspiration holds together all that lives. As we breathe, our minds see clearly, leading us to love and give. Raging whirlwind, whispered breezes, violent gale and gentle cloud. With the blade as sharp as morning east, we ask you be here now. Brother fire, great transformer, share the passion of the sun. In our hearts your warmth revives us, cooks our food, heats our homes. Flaming candle, blood within us, blazing desert will to grow. With the wand directing power south, we ask you be here now. Sister water ever flowing, ocean, river, pond and rain, drink we now and quench our thirsting, cleanse us, we begin again. Mist and ice, a host that changes all that courage will allow. With the cup, the holy chalice, west we ask you be here now. Lover, spirit, intuition, in the center of our souls. In your love we find relation, all connected we are whole. Timeless mystery, quiet conscience, deepest values voice inside. With the drum and with the cauldron, this we ask you be our God.
In the pagan wheel of the year, Imbolc is celebrated on February 2nd, the midway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. It is one of the 4 cross-quarter sabbats, along with Beltane, Lammas, and Samhain. The winter months leading up to Imbolc are a time of introspection and contemplation. The days are dark and cold. Life turns inward. By the time of Imbolc, the days have grown visibly longer, and we are beginning to stir from our winter's hibernation. Deep in the earth, new life is awakening, and while we won't see the flowers for several weeks yet, they are, nonetheless, coming to life again. The same can be said for us. We long for spring, for the return of green, for color, for warmth. Imbolc is the time for cleansing, both literally and symbolically. The concept of spring cleaning may indeed rise from the old practices of Imbolc. People would clean their homes, their yards, their gardens, purging the old to make way for the new. Spiritually, we can let go of those thoughts and doubts that prevent us from growing, from moving forward. Imbolc was and still is celebrated with fire. The giant bonfires constructed by ancient pagans honored the growing power of the sun. Spiritually, the fire of Imbolc represents the stirring of souls toward all of the hopes and dreams of the long winter months. Imbolc is the bringing to life of the fire within. It's no surprise then that Imbolc was appropriated by the early Catholic Church as the feast day of Saint Brigid upon the advent of Christianity in the early centuries. According to the legends, Saint Brigid was the mother superior of a convent whose job was to tend an eternal flame. Saint Brigid is the patron saint of fire, fertility, abused and unwed mothers, among many other things. Today we celebrate Brigid and her ties to Imbolc. We will tend our inner fires in preparation for the coming of spring and all that it brings. Come, let us worship together.
Today we draw on our sixth Unitarian Universalist source of spiritual wisdom, earth-centered traditions, which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Part of this source of spiritual wisdom is the pagan tradition, which is grounded in respect through rituals that honor the earth as the source of life and the giver of everything we need to live. In the pagan tradition, we begin rituals by casting a circle to create sacred space and inviting the four directions to bring their power and be present within our circle. Each direction is associated with an element of the natural world and represents some part of our human being as well. As we cast a circle, we bring our bodies, minds, and spirits into our sacred space. Now I invite you, if you're able and willing, to turn and face the east as we invite the spirits of the east to be present. You can also point or raise your hand toward the east or look east. The element of the east is air, represented by a feather. It is air taken in through our breath, which gives us life, and the gentle breeze, which brings the cool of the icy blast of winter's breath, and the renewing warmth of the spring. East is the direction of inspiration, the word that literally means to take in air and creativity. The spirit of the East is associated with the mind, with knowledge and learning and intellectual curiosity. Welcome, spirits of the East, who bring the gifts of a fresh start, an invigorating breath, a new idea. Now I invite you to turn to the south or point or look south.
The element of the south is fire, represented by our chalice and the candle flame behind me. Fire is a powerful force that can bring both good, warming us in the cold and cooking our food, and cause harm when it destroys and rages out of control. South is the direction of passion, of the powerful emotions that can change us with the joy of love or the sorrow of grief. The spirit of South is associated with our spirit, the spark of the divine in every one of us, our inherent worth and dignity. Welcome, spirits of the South, who bring the gifts of energy, of hope, of love. Now please turn to the west, or point or look west.
The element of the west is water, represented by this vessel containing symbolic water from our water communion last fall. Water is another powerful force that can bring both good in cleansing, purifying, giving life, and cause harm when it rages as a flood or storm. Our bodies are mostly water, including our blood, which flows through us, bringing life and nutrients as well as cleansing us. The spirit of the West is associated with our emotions, the realm of intuition and self-reflection, self-understanding, and spiritual growth. Welcome, spirits of the West, who bring the gifts of wisdom, of understanding, of authenticity. Now please turn or point or look to the north.
The element of the north is earth, represented by this small container of soil from the land on which our church sits. It is the earth beneath our feet which provides stability and grounds us. It is also our bodies, the physical self which holds our minds and spirits, the part of us that is able to experience the world around us and to feel pleasure and pain. The spirit of the north represents the place that holds us, that allows us time and space to heal and grow, to feel nurtured and respected. Welcome, spirits of the north, who bring the gifts of rest, of balance, of healing. Our circle is cast. Come into this circle with reverence and praise. And I ask you now, how will you enter the circle? And please respond.
In light and love, offering my presence as a gift.
I invite you now to join in a chant about the elements and their presence within us. We've cast our circle, invited the spirits to be present. Now let's light our chalice, which is at the center of our circle. We join Unitarian Universalists across the country in this ritual, which is a symbol of sanctuary and safety, a sign of life's beauty and wonder, a symbol of peace and hope, an invitation to continue our ongoing search for the light of truth within us and among us, and which today inspires us to tend our own inner flame. As I light our shared chalice, I invite you to light your home chalice. Would you join me now in the words for lighting the chalice, which were written by Eric Hell? Is the fire that burns deep in the soul. It is the flame of the human spirit touched into being by the mystery of life. It is the fire of reason, the fire of compassion, the fire of community, the fire of justice, the fire of faith. It is the fire of love burning deep in the human heart, the divine glow in every life. Would you join now in singing our chalice lighting hymn, Rise Up, O Flame?
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
As Laurie told us, February 2nd is Imbolc and the feast day of Saint Brigid. It is also the Celtic day of the goddess Brigid. I first encountered Brigid some years ago during a conversation with my spiritual director, who spoke of Saint Brigid. Learning more about the saint soon led me to discover Brigid's ancient origins. She was a powerful goddess for the ancient Celts, a goddess of fire and water, of passion and serenity, the union of opposites that is life-giving and poetic, yet practical. She is a triple goddess with her attributes of poetry, ironcraft, and healing. She is patroness of inspiration and being a midwife, and she empowers her students with wisdom and knowledge to nurture the land, to keep it safe and productive, and share it for the good of all. She's also a weaver. She made the first piece of cloth in Ireland into which she wove healing threads. When Christianity came to Ireland and the Catholic missionaries converted the native peoples, it made Brigid a saint. While some church scholars say there never really was a Saint Brigid, the Catholic Church decided the great goddess of Ireland a demon, so they canonized her instead. She is a formidable goddess, but she's also quite a character as a Christian saint. She's legendary for her generosity and ability to provide an abundance of food for daily needs as well as festive occasions. In Brigid's presence, butter is replenished. The bacon she slips to a dog miraculously reappears in the pot. A stone turns to salt. She also had the ability to turn water into beer, which would make her a great party guest. If you're here for the first time, or even if you've been attending for a while, you may wonder why we're talking about an Irish pagan goddess turned Catholic saint and celebrating a pagan holy day. Today is an opportunity for us to remember that we are all, in a sense, pagans because we depend on the earth for our needs of food, light, water, and warmth. We structure our lives around the rhythms of nature, the coming and going of the seasons. We understand life more deeply as we watch the eternal cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, and experience our own intimate connection to the earth, the great interconnected web of all existence, which calls us into reverence and care for this beautiful, fragile planet. The earth's lessons about life are a way to make meaning of life, to understand what it means to be alive. Because life is ultimately a mystery, and there are things that are beyond our understanding or knowing, we often use metaphors. These are things or images or ideas we don't worship or revere, but instead use to point us toward ultimate meaning and help us connect to be ultimately important. As a metaphor, a personification of the transformative elements of fire and water, she represents the possibilities within us waiting to be awakened, just as the earth is waiting to be reawakened. Brega writes, Brigid is a time to honor the potentialities hidden in the year to come, potentialities that with skill and wisdom can be transformed into what is visible. As a goddess of fire, Brigid symbolizes the inner fire, the energy that we need to make real those possibilities within ourselves, reawakening the hope, love, compassion, and commitment to peace and justice. As a goddess of water, Brigid is also a powerful healer. During the winter, even as we've taken time to rest and to renew ourselves, we have still experienced losses, sorrow, struggle, and our hearts may be heavy, especially this winter with the pandemic still raging and the loss, isolation, and suffering COVID has brought. We will take time today to share our joys and sorrows and to receive the gifts of healing or wholeness, gifts that we all need and can receive regardless of our beliefs and the ways in which we make meaning of life. Minds to the power and possibility of life once again, to the mystery that beckons us, and to the promise of the coming spring which today offers. It is my prayer that you will receive the gifts that Imbolc and Brigid offer today: healing, deeper self-knowledge, an awakening of your inner fire, possibilities for life more abundant and authentic, and awakening again the hope, love, compassion within us, so that we may help bring the well and wholeness, create peace and justice, and heal our world. So may it be. Now I invite Colleen, our Director of Religious Education, to tell us a story about Brigid.
Brigid, Queen of Four Fires. A long time ago, near the beginning of the first crack of pink in the young morning, near the waters of the magic well, the goddess Brigid slipped into the world and into the waiting hands of the 9 sisters, who swayed and crooned in a great circle around her. The waters of the magic well burbled with their joy. Up rose a column of fire of the new goddess's head that burned straight to the very sky. Brigid reached up with her 2 hands and broke away a flaming plume from her crown of fire and dropped it onto the ground before her. There it leapt and shone, making the hearth of the house of the goddess. Then from the fire of her hearth, Brigid used both hands to draw out the leaping tongue of heat and swallowed it. It trickled down to her heart, and she felt the burn. There stood the goddess, fire crowning her head and licking up into her heart, glowing and shooting from her hands and dancing on the hearth before her. The 9 sisters hummed, and the waters of the magic well trembled as Brigid built a chimney of brick about her hearth. Then about the chimney, she built a roof of thatch and walls of stone. And so it was that by the waters of magic, the magic well, the goddess finished the house in which she keeps the 4 fires, which have served her people forevermore. Out of the fire on Brigid's hands baked the craft of bending iron. Out of the fire on Brigid's hearth and the waters of her magic well came healing teas. Out of the fire of Brigid's head flared out writing and poetry. Out of the fire in Brigid's heart spread the heat of compassion. Word of the gifts of Brigid's fires traveled wide, and people flocked to learn from Brigid the secret of using fire to soften iron and bend it into shapes of their desires. The people called bending iron smithcraft, and they made wheels and pots and tools that did not break. All the medicine plants of the earth gathered in the house of the goddess, with their leaves, flowers, barks, and roots, and the waters of her magic well. Brigid made healing teas. She gave one child with weak teeth the tea of dandelion root. She gave a young woman the tea of raspberry leaf to help her womb carry a child. An old man with a cane in each hand to help him walk took from Brigid wintergreen bark for his pain and black cherry juice for his arthritis. She gave comfrey to a girl with a broken leg. The people wanted Brigid's recipes, but we can't remember which plants were for which healings, they said. Where do we gather them? How long do we steep them? They asked. The fire on Brigid's head blazed bright, and she took up a blackened stick and made marks with it on a flat piece of bark. These are the talking marks, she said. They are the way to remember what you don't want to forget. The talking marks also let the people write down their stories of her wisdom. Once 2 men with terrible stories of leprosy came to Brigid. Bathe yourself in my well, said Brigid to the first man. At every place Brigid's waters touched him, the skin of this man turned whole again. Now, she said, bathe your friend. Repulsed, the man backed away from his friend. No, I cannot touch him, he said. Then you are not truly healed, said the goddess. And she gave the first man back his leprosy and healed the second man. Return to me with compassion, she said to the first man. There you'll find your healing. And now we celebrate Brigid. Every year at midwinter, the people thank Brigid for her well of wisdom, her fires of hand, hearth, head, and heart. Thank you, Brigid, for the smithcraft, for the healing teas, the talking marks, and compassion. May you dwell with your fires in your house by the waters of your magic well forever. May it be so.
There's a tree by the well in the wood that's covered in garlands. Cluties and ribbons that drift in the cool morning air. That's where I met an old woman who came from a far land, holding a flame o'er the well and chanting a prayer. Goddess of fire, goddess of healing, goddess of spring, welcome again. She spoke of a tale of the oak where a fire is still burning. 19 priestesses tend the eternal flame. Oh, but of you, my lady, we are still learning. Bright Brigantia, the goddess of many names, goddess of fire, goddess of healing, goddess of spring, welcome
Thank you, Katie. That was lovely. I invite you now to get comfortable. If you're willing to close your eyes, take a few and exhale slowly. As you breathe deeply, deepen into the stillness. January's Soul Matters theme has been imagination, so let's put our imaginations to work this morning in our meditation. Imagine now a beautiful golden light inside you, filling you, centered in your heart. You can place your hand over your heart if you wish. And now take a really deep breath, and as you exhale, say ah. Ah. Feel the sound vibration and notice the energy that's flowing through you. Let's do that together several times. Take your hands, bring them to your mouth, breathe in to your hands. Do you feel the warmth? That's your inner fire, the fire of life. That is also the center of passion and your energy. Now, let's take one more deep breath, and as we exhale again and say ah, if you're able, stretch your arms out and imagine your inner fire spreading out into the world. So deep breath and ah. One of the reasons we light a chalice each week is to remind us of our inner fire. Today, as we welcome Imbolc, we celebrate the coming spring and we take time to prepare. This is a time when seeds are started and nurtured for the growing season. So, knowing we have inner fire to tend those seeds and nurture them, let's plant within ourselves. Let's do it with desire and intention, which is the heart of any magic we want to create. This seed or seeds is important. It will lead to something new in our lives. What is that something new for you? Is it a deeper commitment to the work of justice? A new skill, or perhaps reviving a meaningful skill or talent you haven't done for a while, like creating art? Is it forgiving someone? Is it doing something kind and caring for a friend, for a family, for a stranger? Is it taking time from the busyness of life to notice the beauty of the world and just be grateful? Is it starting a new habit or practice that will help you heal or be healthier? Is it affirming your own worth and dignity and knowing you have gifts, love, compassion to share with the world? Maybe there are several seeds we know we need to plant that will help us be more fully ourselves. Now let's take some time of silence together. Just think about the seed or seeds we want to plant in ourselves. As you imagine those seeds, imagine your inner fire providing the warmth those seeds need to germinate and bloom. And as they do, we'll grow and bloom too. So let's enter some silence together. To remind us of our inner fire now, I invite you to light a candle. If you're with another person or together this morning as a family, one person can light a candle and then everyone else can light their candles from yours, reminding us the inner light and the warmth of love we share with each other. Among the many gifts Brigid gives us, as you heard in the story, are gifts of healing, knowledge about plants that make medicines, and the gentle fire of compassion. Compassion for ourselves, others, compassion for all of life. Let us kindle that fire and tend it this morning by offering one another care and compassion as we share our joys and concerns, our struggles and achievements. I invite you now to use the chat box to share your joys and concerns, those things on your heart this morning with one another, and I'll read them out loud. Jim Scott shares the care of his friend John, who is in hospital. Elaine Bowen says, happy birthdays to Danny Beal, who celebrated a day yesterday, Donna Craver-Dean today, happy day, Sandy Bowers and Eric Van Bars on Wednesday, and happy day to all of you. Lori McGee asks prayers for her father who is struggling with the consequences that come from addiction and poor life choice, healing and peace. From Raylin and Evian Rome and the Rome family, we are so grateful for all the messages of support and the cookies from the Leesons. Yay. Jack Adams shares gratitude for all the blessings that I continue to keep discovering. Gail Rule is grateful that many of family and friends have been inoculated against COVID. Ginny asks hope and prayers for healing for her daughter and son-in-law who continue to be quite sick with COVID. May they know healing. Vivian Sandlin shares the joy of Kevin Breeden, who has now legally gained his name. Yay, Kevin, we celebrate with you on this day. Yay. Carol Kramer offers concern for Sister Betty, who just received a cancer diagnosis. There's also joy for progress in COVID vaccinations. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, everyone, for sharing these gratitudes, these hopes, these joys, these concerns, these prayers for healing and for peace. To honor what we've shared with one another, let's take just a moment of silence.
I invite you now to join in a ritual of blessing and healing. If you wish to participate, please hold up your small container of water. May Brigid bless this water and the waters of the world for the healing of all creatures. May the water we now pour in this ritual be filled with light and love and healing. You are welcome to pour a small amount of water on your hands. As you do, I offer these words of blessing. As water flows over your hands, may you receive healing of mind, body, and spirit, and may you be blessed with peace.
Blessed be. I want to tell you about a little more about Saint Brigid, who was legend. A poem about her says, an easy touch, for poor and lowly, she gave so much and grew so holy that when she died of years and fame, the countryside put on her name. Saint Brigid discovered a truth about the spiritual life. There is joy in being generous, and it is through your generosity that together we make a difference in the world. We make a difference because we share our money, time, and care with organizations in Kent and beyond, and with this congregation. Because of your generosity, even in this time of COVID, we are strong and thriving as a community and able to be together virtually for worship, for community, for shared ministry. Thank you. For our special collection this month, our religious education children and youth chose the Portage County NAACP. The NAACP's mission is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic rights of all people and to eliminate racial hatred and racial discrimination, bringing about justice. Please be as generous as you can in supporting this worthy organization. And now, in the spirit of gratitude, for the gift of one another in this community and the abundance that makes generosity possible as a sign of our shared commitment to the life and work of this congregation and beyond.
May the blessings of sweet planet Earth shine on everyone, and may we all see the light within. May the love we're sharing spread its wings, fly across the earth, and bring new joy to every soul that is alive. Blessings of sweet planet Earth shine on everyone, and may we all see the light within. May the love we're sharing spread its wings, fly across the earth, and bring new joy to every soul that is alive. Blessings of sweet planet Earth shine on everyone, and may we all see the light within. May the love we're sharing spread its wings, fly across the earth, and bring new joy to every soul that is alive.
It's time now to bring our worship to its end and to prepare to take our inner fire out into the world. Please join me in extinguishing our shared chalice and your home chalice with these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Carry these in our hearts and minds until we are together again. Now we open our circle and release the spirits. I invite you, if you're able and willing, to turn and face north. You can also point or raise your hand toward the north or look north. Spirits of the north, of the element earth and our physical bodies, thank you for the gifts of rest, balance, and healing, and for your presence in our circle. And farewell, spirits of the north. Now I invite you to turn to the west or point or look west.
Spirits of the west, of the element water and the blood in our bodies, thank you for the gifts of wisdom, of understanding, of authenticity, and for your presence in our circle. Hail and farewell, spirits of the west. Now please turn to the south or point or look south.
Spirits of the south, of the element fire and the spark of the divine in each of us, thank you for your gifts, the gifts of energy, of hope, of love, and for your presence in our circle. Hail and farewell, spirits of the south. Now please turn to or point or look to the east.
Spirits of the east, of the element air and the very breath in our lungs, thank you for the gift of beginnings, inspiration, curiosity, and for your presence in our circle. Hail and farewell, spirits of the east. Our circle is open but remains unbroken. Blessed be.
Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the gentle night to you. Moon and stars pour their healing light to you.